classic scary videos.
What the hell? What is that, Mom? Mom, you see this?
Holy shit! What the hell is that?
What is happening?
¡Quítate, Noé! ¡Quítate, Noé! ¡Quítate, Noé! ¡Feliz, tía! ¡Tú estás feliz! ¡Tú estás feliz! ¡Tú estás feliz, tía! ¡Tú estás feliz, tía! ¡Gracias, tía! ¡Gracias por manifestarte, tía! ¡Gracias, tía! ¡Gracias! ¡Gracias por manifestarte, tía! ¡Te amamos! ¡Te amamos, tía! ¡Te amamos, tía! ¡Te amamos! Tía, te amamos, tía. Gracias, tía, gracias. Gracias, tía, gracias. Gracias, tía, gracias.
The way that lady casually walked past the reef, it made me believe it was a setup. Whose sick humor was this?
Look at what this guy filmed in Odessa, Texas, y'all. First of all, look at the sky. Look at this. That is something huge. That looks like something from Three Body Problem, doesn't it? Now check this out. Now y'all been seeing the skies lately. I've been showing a lot of weird anomalies going on with the sky lately, y'all. But this right here, this thing looks like it is suspended in the air, y'all. And what is this huge piece of cloud or land on top of us, y'all? It is huge. But yeah, this thing is like suspended right there. It's not moving. It's literally stuck right there. But you can see the trail it made, like it came from this huge island, this huge cloud or UFO, you know, because you never know what that could be. But this thing right here is just sitting there. Odessa, Texas, y'all see this? What y'all think that is? And the color of the sky, yeah, look at that, y'all. Look how big that thing is. Ain't no way that's clouds, y'all. And it's so low. But yeah, y'all, that is not no regular cloud. And you see how low that is? That is huge. He didn't even realize that. But what do you think that is? It is.
I thought it was a picture at first, but for it being the video, this is something definitely weird going on in the skies. Maybe it was just the start of a chemtrail or something. Look like he been in the gym. Did he just flush?
Believe this, but we buried this guy like a day ago. Hey, but guess what? He's back. Yeah, I know, buddy. I see you. I'm surprised you're still up and walking around.
With the Powerball approaching $1 billion yet again, here are some reasons why winning the lottery isn't always so great. In 1999, a Florida waitress was tipped a lottery ticket and won $10 million from it. She was then sued by her colleagues for their share before being sued by the men who tipped her the ticket. That same week, she was kidnapped by her ex-husband and ended up shooting him in the chest when he threatened to kill her. She then spent the next 10 years fighting a legal battle against the IRS, which she eventually won. In 1978, psychologists performed an experiment to compare the happiness levels of lottery winners versus accident victims who became paraplegic. Surprisingly, this study found that over time, the everyday happiness of lottery winners ended up being lower than the happiness of accident victims. In 1960, an Australian father won $3 million in the lottery and his photo was plastered all over the news. Soon afterwards, his 8-year-old son was kidnapped for ransom and eventually murdered. This tragedy forever changed Australian anonymity laws for lottery winners.
Eclipse zombies? Has this ever happened before? Are there special alignments or rituals, or both, that come by every once in a while that cause spiritual manifestations into our physical realm? We're going to take a look. Also, I love finding patterns in things and going down interesting rabbit holes, so avoiding repeat info. We're also going to take a quick interesting look at legends, simulated sky possibilities, sun portals, things hidden in plain sight, and more. Like the stone rolling to, covering, and then rolling away from the tomb of Jesus is actually an eclipse. As you can clearly see, it represents the eclipse just like Jesus' whole life does. It follows the pattern of the sun. Same story of the Mazzaroth. The sun dying and resurrecting. The same thing the eclipse shows you. The eclipse symbolism is played out from everything from his life, death, burial, and resurrection, to even the stone in the tomb that contained him. Check out this verse and look for the pattern. When Jesus was crucified, it was during an eclipse. Veil torn, earthquakes, tombs open, dead people walking around, zombie style. Seen by over 500 witnesses, by the way, all walking around during an eclipse. The veil being torn is also very interesting in light of things we've covered with PMO, things airplane people might have been seeing, and just general special alignments where the veil of the sim or the spirit realm is torn and people can see things beyond the physical spectrum of light. Will people be able to just not hide what they are or any kind of spirits they might be possessing? Just total manifestation time. Kind of fascinating. Also, is this enlightenment halo meant to be a full eclipse, always seen behind the head of enlightened ones, especially Jesus? Also, is the crescent moon and star also really an eclipse? Check it out. Also, interestingly enough, this sigil of Lucifer is the NASA globe-style version of an eclipse. Just like the third eye pineal gland light spectrum. I guess the whole message there is to see as he sees. See things the way he wants you to see them. Also, there's this sun-kissed, or take a closer look, is it sin-kissed? Perfect thing to wash down that Baphomet burger with from McDonald's that I definitely won't be getting. Back to the veil being torn. It seems like media has put out some predictive programming aside from this, such as eclipse sickness, or zombie virus, or just other pre-manifestation type excuses in general. Historically, the eclipse phenomenon in the eyes of the Hebrew culture is the sun means something for the world and the moon means something for Israel, as far as solar and lunar eclipses. Other legends, such as the Aztecs, believe the partial or fullness of the eclipse also had something to do with the message. Japanese believed it could affect food or water that was left out. And other cultures just generally believed this was a time where spirits were released, especially during certain eclipses, and they took the appropriate measures, including what color garments to wear sometimes. So in the case of the resurrection with Jesus, it seemed like the undead walking around was a good thing. But other times, an undead Walking Dead takeover probably isn't. Reverse resurrection style. Maybe even by plan with the assisting and aiding of spiritual technology. Well, there is this eclipse weather mod pattern that you see going beforehand, before the eclipse. Also the same thing with monolith paths also being the same paths of eclipses. You may know about the Aleister Crowley ritual from 120 years ago that took 3 days to do, also starting on April 8th, where he contacted a being called Aiwass, which as you've heard probably sounds like ayahuasca, but also doesn't sound like iOS. Aiwass. The iOS system, if you say it fast. And where the internet comes from in general, and how this physical internet is kind of a representation of the internet that this thing exists in anyway. Also, I was, kind of like an I am, and the Bible talks about the beast that was. One thing the Bible definitely says is that something will happen to the sun and it will basically just scorch people. The sun will cause manifestations to happen that will cause people to curse God, and it even shows people in heaven rejoicing that they're no longer being tortured by the sun. It also says that people will search for death and wish that they were dead, but they won't be able to find it. Also kind of sounds like a zombie state. The Revelation zombies. Speaking of the built-in internet tech that we all live in, Is the sky simulated? The firmament has displayed some weird and anomalous behavior that will do a very quick rabbit hole, such as dropping all sorts of species like raining fish. But the weird thing is, it's only ever the one species. Theories like a funnel, picking up species from a lake and dumping them somewhere else don't really seem to pan out, because it's always all frogs or all fish. It's never a mixture of species. Kind of like they just fell out of the simulated sky, 3D printed in the ether, and just dropped. Also, comets, like the Devil's Comet, seems to be harbingers. Comets also sometimes in the past were called bearded comets. Some of them even winged or horns and had relations to dragons. Or phoenixes and the reset cycle, all different frames of reference for the same thing. Bearded or wet comets considered to be fiery dragons. And the Bible in Revelation also talks about a giant eagle that preaches the gospel in the sky. Video plug on my page, I cover the Saros cycle if you want to know the eclipse pattern and how they always know when there's going to be one. And then giant living celestial grandfather clock above us. One idea explored in legend and fiction is the sun portal, which is interesting if you consider the rapture. They also show this portal in the Lego movie, and maybe that's one of the reasons why the elite want to block it out. The same reason they wanted to and did cover up the golden gate of the temple, so the Messiah couldn't break through. Eclipse legends about things breaking through. If you lived at different times, you would believe whatever the legend, lore, and stats that the culture around you told you about spiritual things and phenomena like eclipses. This Truman Show reality. It's not about getting caught up in the hype, but one of these times, and during certain special alignments, be ready. Putting all the puzzle pieces together, Jesus' whole life represented an eclipse. He was crucified on an eclipse, so it makes sense that the anti-Messiah would have something to do with an eclipse, especially in light of the Islamic symbol possibly being an eclipse, the Lucifer sigil being an eclipse, and weird things like Crowley eclipse rituals, or Apollo actually being the sun god, and rockets even at the angle of the arch made to worship Apollo, who is the Antichrist, and to cultural things like songs summoning worship of the black hole sun to come. Also, the furtherness of the end of this ritual actually is the Vesica Pisces monument ley line, spiritual ley line, ritualistic place underneath, having to do with a portal and a well, and using frequency of the sacred symbol at a trifected projection to imprint the symbol upon the water/portal to do the ritual to then birth the Antichrist. Secrets of Freemasonry and Mystery Babylon religion. Time to know who you serve. This all for entertainment, spiritual exploration. It's fascinating. Man's quest to understand the unknown. See you next time.
I'm sorry, but what is happening next week? So, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, next Monday, April the 8th, there is the next total eclipse, which is going to be visible all across the US. But that's not the only thing that's happening on April the 8th. Now, scientists have also got some crazy warnings for April the 8th, which I'll come back to later, but there's actually a lot of other stuff going on that day. Now, I'm not going to speak about a lot of them, but this one is insane. So, the LHC, which is the largest and most powerful particle collider in the entire world. Now this is going to be running some tests on April the 8th, which could shatter the universe. So on April 8th, this accelerator is set to smash protons together to search for invisible particles powering our galaxy. Now there are theories out there that suggest there are over 17 different particle groups, and the nuclear research group known as CERN did confirm one back in 2012 when they used this thing. And now of course, the team has restarted the LHC with the hopes of finding more things about the universe, specifically dark matter. So yeah, next Monday, while the solar eclipse is happening, this particle accelerator will be trying to find dark matter essentially. Oh, and also, did I mention, one wrong move by CERN, one wrong thing, could open a wormhole and destroy the Earth. It could, like it actually could. So yeah, all of the scientists have been warning about April 8th. High-ranking officials, scientists, government saying, be prepared, it's gonna be bad. But it's just a solar eclipse. Maybe they know a bit more, because they know these tests are happening. Who knows what could actually happen. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just gonna run some tests, and we're gonna find some dark matter. That could be cool. But yeah, make sure you hit that follow button, and I will keep you updated.
I bet they can't wait to fire that thing up. I hope everything go alright though. I ain't trying to end up in another dimension. What?
So Taiwan just got hit with its largest earthquake that it had in 25 years. Let me show you how biblical this is. These quakes were so strong that it caused parts of mountains to collapse. It caused landslides. It even caused some massive buildings to collapse in the middle of the street, as you can see right here behind me. A whole building then collapsed. Some buildings' whole foundation has collapsed upon itself. And they still find the people that's trapped inside of these buildings. The earthquakes were so strong that it caused tsunami warnings in Taiwan, South Japan, and the Philippines. The earthquake took place on the east coast of Taiwan. I knew I read this somewhere in the scripture. See, Luke 21:11, it say there will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilence in various places, such as the eclipse. Right before that, it say nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, like NATO and BRICS. And no man knows the time or the hour, but we do have signs to tell us when we in the end times. It's not the only earthquake either. I'm just saying, gang, y'all get prepared and get right with the Most High. Let me know in the comments, do y'all think that this time...
I remember being an earthquake one time when I was in St. Louis. It might have been a little tremor, but it woke me up out of my sleep. I thought the world was going to end.
So here are the Anunnaki lands, and it kind of looks like they have two ice walls. They have the Sea of Horus that is described as this tropical paradise, but it only looks that way because the land is arid and with not a lot of vegetation apparently. And next to them is the lands of Seth. So let's see what the Anunnaki look like based on the Terra Infinita books. Their skin is described as yellowish green, although their leaders can have totally different tonalities of skin, but all of them have very dry and scaly skin, and their eyes are distinguished by yellow, red, or black. Now it's starting to sound like the vampires from Twilight, am I wrong? And it says they have a particular iris that also other beings have. It's characterized by a cleft, depression, or gap, and can be both uni or bilateral, generally dark in color. Is this describing the reptilian eyes? I'm not sure. During the many civilizations in the known land, both the Anunnaki and the custodians, usually the former, have been depicted in many ways. Usually it's with humanoid features. Then they have the humanoid body with the heads of animals. And the animals are all different types. Reptiles, birds, it says a whole bunch of them. And this was done to confuse humans of their history. Basically, it explains how humans have been conditioned and manipulated by these parasitic races. They are beings that lack all empathy and are based solely on the oppression of other beings. And of course, they love the conquest. They have a thirst for power and control. In this, they are very similar to the custodians in that way. And this is why they have preferred to share their position in alliance with the custodians rather than everyone killing themselves in this huge war. But there is always tension between these two races. Do not think that the Anunnaki like the custodians and vice versa. Not true. And this is very convenient for all of us in the other worlds that are under their power and dominion. This was chapter 4 of the book Terra Infinita by Claudio Nocelli. Hope you like the flat earth theory version of the Anunnaki. This is all I have for now on them besides when they appear in other chapters. And you'll be able to find all of the chapters of the Terra Infinita of the flat earth theory book here in this playlist.
What y'all think? Y'all think there's more land outside of Antarctica with other beings? I don't know. I'm more of I gotta see it to believe it type of person. But let me know in the comments what you think.
What would happen if you accidentally got sucked into an MRI machine? Let's say you throw a folding chair towards the opening of the machine. It's immediately sucked in, and no matter how hard you pull, you can't get it out. If a person carrying metal gets close to it, you can imagine the result. There was a case in India where a man carrying an oxygen cylinder got sucked into the MRI machine as he passed by. He ended up being trapped between the machine and the oxygen cylinder, breaking his ribs and causing death. An MRI machine is essentially like an extremely powerful magnet, with a magnetic force over 50,000 times that of the Earth's. So when undergoing an MRI, doctors not only require you not to have metal on you, but also if you have metal implants, such as steel plate pacemakers or dental implants, you cannot undergo an MRI. Otherwise, your body could potentially explode and bleed in an instant. So what would happen if you swallowed the largest magnet and got close to an MRI machine?
I ain't trying to get sucked into no MRI machine. In order for them to know that you will explode, somebody exploded.
Blessed be our new founding fathers.
Know that we have a World War II invention in our homes, and that's the microwave. Microwaves was initially used in World War II for radar detection. That's why it's called a microwave, because it sends out a microwave and it detects enemy ships or enemy aircrafts. But eventually they said something about somebody put a piece of food next to the microwave or something, and then they noticed that the food melted. And then they said, let's try popcorn kernels. And then they put it on the table, then the fucking kernels started popping. And then that's when they found out that this shit can be also used to cook food. That's insane. I would have never thought that something like this was used in World War II. The more you fucking know. Now every time I'm gonna go to this motherfucking microwave, I'm gonna think World War II. I can't wrap my mind around that. What the fuck? Hey man, if you ain't know, now you know. That's some crazy shit. Now every time you...
Me personally, I don't really mess with the microwave. It just don't seem right to me. If that's weird.
Just a second. If you were to think about the video you saw before this one, are you able to visualize what it looked like inside of your mind, or is your mind just blank? How intense is the memory of the video you saw last? Is it super vibrant in color? Is it dull? Or is it really faded out? A lot of people's memories do contain imagery, but some people don't see anything but blackness. The other day I posted a video where we discussed the inner monologue. It's down in the playlist if you want to watch it. A lot of people are able to hear inner voices inside of their minds, but some people don't hear anything at all. As a person with an inner monologue, I'll be honest, it's really hard for me to imagine not having one or how it's possible to not have one. A lot of the people in the comments without an inner monologue were saying that their thought process looks like words scrolling by on a screen. Other people were saying that their thoughts look like random letters that are just scrambled around. Others said that their thoughts come in random shapes. And some said they're only able to think in black and white, which made me want to dig even deeper. Going from how we hear things in our heads to how we see things in our heads is super fascinating to me. If you're one of the people who only see blackness, you may have a condition called aphantasia. Only about 2 to 4% of the population has it. A lot of people don't realize they have this, and there's a bunch of tests online to see if you possibly have it. One of the most common tests would be your memory vibrancy. If you were to close your eyes and envision a red apple, do you see the apple in its full intensity? Do you see a flat apple? Has the apple shifted in color? Is it black and white, or do you see nothing? It's believed that people with aphantasia do face disadvantages. Struggling to learn is one of the first big disadvantages. We use imagery so often when learning. So not being able to recall certain images in your mind, it would make it really difficult. Memory loss is another one because you're not able to visualize what you saw. And another huge disadvantage are people not being able to remember their childhoods. They don't remember what it looked like. They don't get that sense of nostalgia that so many of us get. I found it really interesting because people on certain forums were saying that their memories were more than just a thought. They were a feeling. They're actually able to feel a certain sensation in their body that reminds them of what they felt during a certain situation. People said they were able to taste their memories, or they even smell memories. There's also a handful of people that said they can taste colors, which is a little bit different. That's synesthesia, but it's still really cool.
What do y'all see when y'all imagine the past? Do y'all see like movies, or do you see like picture forms? Do y'all get certain feelings? Let me know in the comments.
The White House is tweaking. I mean, they be tweaking all the time, but this is just outrageous. So the White House has asked NASA to create a new time zone for the moon. What the hell is really going on? What do they know that we don't know? Are there people living on the moon that we don't know about? Child, let's get into this article. So the White House has tasked NASA to create a new time zone for the moon by 2026. The head of the White House Office of Science and Technology said in a letter that the office wants NASA to establish a unified standard time for the moon, as well as celestial bodies other than Earth, to create a timekeeping standard. The letter also states Coordinated Lunar Time, LTC, is intended to aid future space missions that require precise navigation and science. NASA must develop the time zone by the end of 2026. Prab Hakar said the U.S. will work with allies and partners to return humans to the moon and develop capabilities to enable an enduring presence. In addition, the U.S. anticipates that many other actors, including other governments and private companies, will be sending spacecrafts to the moon. The new time zone is fundamental to the scientific discovery, economic development, and international collaboration. I just read a whole bunch of hoopla. I'm gonna need the conspiracy theory TikTokers to do some research on this and really tell us what the hell is going on. Because I don't trust the White House, and I damn sure don't trust the government. And I'm sure they know something that we don't know. Because it sounds good, trying to make the time zone for space flights and research, allegedly. There are some people on this planet that don't even believe that we ever even went to the moon. Am I one of those people? No. But it would be a damn shame. Those people who believe that we never visited the moon are right. At this point, I don't know what to believe. America is crazy. The world is crazy. But this, I don't know, it's a little side-eye to me. But for the people who study science, for the people who work for NASA, for the people who study planets, y'all probably know more than me. And maybe this is a good idea. It just sounds sus as hell. But what do you guys think? Do you think that the moon needs a new time zone? Or do you think that the White House is tweaking?
New time zone on the moon, unless y'all think there's people up there. It seems like there's about to be a lot more traffic in space.
Several theories that suggest we may be living in a simulation or maybe a matrix type system. The first person to write about this was Nick Bostrom, who wrote a paper saying that it's very difficult to disprove or prove this theory. And there are certain videos out there that will leave anyone baffled and scratching their heads. And the video that I'm about to show you guys is one of them. Check this out. Pay very close attention.
From the flashlight. I don't get it. I don't get it either. How am I just seeing? Put it back. Circle.
Check this out.
How are we seeing the shadow of the tree from the flashlight when it's the sky behind the tree? And why is there a stop point at the end of my flashlight when it's pointed at the sky? Why isn't it going on further? What the fuck is this? Don't cuss.
Strange, isn't it? But it gets even stranger as the video goes on. I'm going to show you guys the rest of the video, but before I do so, a lot of people were saying that this is clouds. These are clouds or fog. Others were saying that this is because we live in the Truman Show or because we live in a firmament. I'm not exactly sure about that. What I do know, and I agree with this, is that do you think that the clouds are that close to the tree? I mean, no disrespect by any means, but that's awfully close to the tree line. I'm not exactly sure if fog or clouds would be that close to the tree. Not only that, it's equally close to all of the trees. This is what fog looks like. It's moving, it has wind, it's not equally close to anything. It doesn't have a pattern. In this video, I'm going to show you guys the rest. There seems to be a pattern, like a wall behind the tree. And the owner of the video says that she was personally there, of course. She says it's not clouds and it's not fog. So, I don't know. You tell me.
There's a shadow in the sky. You see the shadow? Let me see if I can zoom.
Check this out.
There's a shadow. And like, I don't get it. You're going too fast, honey. Why? We see the circle of light. I don't feel like I've ever seen that before in my life.
I've never seen this in my life.
Not in the sky. It just kind of disappears, you know?
Look at that.
I wonder if I was standing in front of the house if I could see this. Because you know those party lights, like the party lasers and stuff? Yeah.
Y'all see where the FBI showed up at this girl's house over some posts she made on Facebook.
We just move in front of the house so the dogs don't go crazy. I need you to identify yourself and let me take imagery of your IDs.
I'm not gonna any business.
So you said you were with the FBI? And why won't you show me your credentials? I didn't really take a look at them. I said, 1 second, I'll be right back. Are you going to show me your credentials or no?
Yeah, we did already. So, and we identified ourselves. So what we'd like to do...
I didn't look at your credentials. Again, I didn't verify them. I told you to wait, and I went inside.
Okay, that's correct. What we'd like to do is just have a conversation with you about some social media posts that you've made. Would you be willing to talk to us today about that?
No, I would not. I would like you to later talk on with my lawyer.
Okay.
Do you have identification cards? No. No. I'll get back to you. What's the number? What are the names of the agents?
Okay.
So you're refusing to identify yourselves.
No.
Again, I did not take a look.
Okay, so the phone number for the FBI in the city is 405-290-7700.
Okay. And tell him that Facebook flagged me for posts. Okay. So we no longer live in a free country and we can't say what we want?
No, we told that.
Well, you can't arrest me for freedom of speech. We live in America.
Yes, right.
Exactly. So it's kind of weird that you want to come talk to me about me exercising my freedom of speech. Okay. So do you have a conversation with everybody on the neighborhood? I mean, all I've done is exercise my right as an American citizen on a public social media platform with my personal opinions. Correct? Okay. Most of the individuals, right, in America, especially older generation, right, have Facebook. Are you questioning all the citizens in America? Okay, so you have concerns about my personal opinions?
If you don't want to talk to us, then you can...
I'm definitely not going to have a talk with you. Okay, they're so-called FBI. This is Rola Abdeljawad in Stillwater, Oklahoma. This is America.
Dude Button was a little too wrinkled to be FBI. Looked like he had a long day.
Why don't we have solar-powered cars? It seems like an intuitive move, but charging your car from the solar panels on your roof or a nearby solar farm is very different than it coming directly from your car. When sunlight hits the earth, it scatters, so the light you get on a very specific surface area is actually pretty limited. About 340 watts on 10 square feet. Or one Marriott bathroom. The average size car in the US could get about 10 times that, but then solar panels aren't that efficient in the first place. Utilizing only about 20% of the solar energy they receive and converting that into electricity. So that 3,000-ish watts turns into something more like 600. And electric cars need about 20,000 to use the highway. There's also the issue of driving at night or on cloudy days, so you'll need a bigger battery to store power for these days. But a bigger battery means more weight, and more weight means more energy. Kind of reminds you of the rocket equation. However, there are fully solar-powered cars. There's actually a competition in Australia every 2 years where teams have to drive almost 2,000 miles on purely solar energy. And they're so weirdly designed to utilize as much surface area as possible. There are designs in the works for consumers, but beyond powering the air conditioner or adding 40 miles of range, they're just not efficient enough to be the sole source of power.
The Garden of Eden is still on this earth today, and it's being hidden from us. This right here is an early map of the North Pole. Yeah, we've been told that there's literally no land at the North Pole. So let's take a quick look at the map here. You have a large black rock in the center called Rupes Nigra, and then you have a whirlpool with 4 rivers coming out of that whirlpool. Genesis 2:10, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads, right, or 4 rivers. Alright, so there's our first confirmation. We have 4 rivers in this map. Now let's examine the mountain in the middle. It's known as the Rupes Nigra. So according to Wikipedia, the Rupes Nigra is a black rock located at the magnetic North Pole, described by Mercator, which is the one who made the map, as 33 French miles in size. So it's a very, very large mountain. It's 33 miles wide. And around this mountain, we have these 4 indrawing seas or rivers, right? Now check this out. This is from the book of Ezekiel chapter 28. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. What's the holy mountain of God? It's Mount Zion. So we know Mount Zion and the Garden of Eden are at the same location. Mount Zion and the Garden of Eden are both here. This is Psalm 48. It's telling us where this mountain is. The city of our God in the mountain of his holiness. Beautiful for situation, which means it's very high up. And we know it's a 33-mile wide mountain. It's huge. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion on the sides of the north. Look at that. So we know it's in the north, or in the North Pole. Now remember, this is a very tall mountain, beautiful for situation. This is a live wind finder that I screen recorded about 15 minutes ago, right? And I zoomed in to the North Pole. Look at this. You can see directly at the North Pole, there's something very large diverting the wind, stopping that wind from going through. It's just swirling around like a vortex. Go check it out for yourself. And we can also prove that the Garden of Eden is still on this earth, because in Genesis chapter 3 verse 24, we know that it's being guarded by cherubims, which are a type of angel, and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Also, it's told that this mountain is made of magnetic stone. This is according to Wikipedia. Maybe this is why all compasses point to the north, because of this magnetic mountain. And I always tell you guys that they like to put the truth in our face, right? This is the Paramount logo. There's a huge mountain in the center of the logo, because the North Pole is at the center of the flat earth. And then look at that. You have a dome of stars, right? A dome of stars going around it. He made the stars also, and God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. Right? The sun, moon, and stars are all in the firmament. And then if you look up what Rupus Nigra means, it actually means black rock, which is actually the name of the largest investment company. That's probably where they got their name from. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Don't forget to spawn while we're watching them.
Alright.
How do you track them?
There's 2 more black dots. Cody.
Let me turn this on.
Oh, what the crap? Is that a guy? What the frick?
What the fuck?
What was that?
He's walking creepy.
Dude, that was a skinwalker. What?
Follow him.
I videoed it. What the frick?
I'm gonna get my gun.
That was a skinwalker.
No. What?
Weird sci-fi movie. This thing is freaky. It's on video. Huh?
Not a person?
No, it's an evil identity. It's evil entity. This thing's like wicked looking. But it's in a human form though. You gotta wait until you see the video. I got it on video. It's okay, good. This is like one out of a million things that people will not. They'll think I'm. They won't think I'm crazy no more. Wait until you see this. Oh my God! It's like you should see this thing, Mike. Oh my God! Like a gargoyle. It's like a gargoyle, man. And it's like 35 feet away, and it came out of those weeds. You know what I'm talking about?